Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone and Rovi, and today we got something special. We're going to be talking about Oasis Foundation, Oasis
Network, Oasis Labs. Pretty much all things Oasis today because,
well,
we kind of just had I don't know.
We went deep into the rabbit hole of AI again.
Yeah, for good reason. Because tomorrow, our time, we have a big interview with the project we've been talking about, personal AI.
Yep.
Claps for us.
Yeah.
We got through to these guys, and there we go.
We're going to be talking to the CEO.
Yeah, man, because if you've been following the channel last several weeks, maybe even months now, AI obviously has been blowing up.
Yeah, everywhere. Twitter.
Yeah, everywhere. So not just our interest, right? And then we're doing these like predictive AI to blockchain tie-togethers.
Yeah.
And like at some point, all this stuff is going to mesh and create one big Cambrian explosion type event. So we're trying to identify what projects are leading that sector, right? So personal AI is one. And through our research, we found a tie-in to another, I guess, provider of some kind.
Yeah. Like
a database provider. Because through our discussions, we talk about, man, AI needs a lot of data, dude. Mm-hmm. If we're ever going to be tasked with training our own AIs, where's all that information going to go? Are we just going to send it all to Amazon?
Yeah.
We're just going to give them more information about us, more control? And no, apparently not. Oasis has something in mind, right? A much more, I guess, distributed, more data and the ownership of its users approach, right? So
yeah, so let's dig a little bit deeper as to kind of the structure of Web 2 versus the structure of Web 3. So Web 2 is your traditional Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, all these like huge companies. They provide a lot of free services, like Twitter is free, Facebook is free, Google is free for the most part. And what they do is they collect all of our interactions, all of our information, all our emails, and they understand things about us that we don't even understand ourselves.
Okay.
And so they're able to provide an advertisement platform with that data. And so what's interesting is that over the weekend, I was doing a bunch of tax stuff, as one does. It's tax season. And I was talking about a particular product, just a regular website. And then I was watching YouTube at the time, and all of a sudden an ad pops up about the very thing I was looking at and talking about.
Okay. I wonder how that happened, dude.
And yeah, right?
Yeah.
Siri and all these like AIs, or, well, I wouldn't call them AI, personal assistants, are listening to us, and they're providing that information. Well, anyway, when we provide information to Facebook and all these like Web 2 entities, they own that data. And so obviously they're able to provide huge multi-trillion-dollar products on top of that data. So what Oasis Lab does is basically any information supplied to Oasis or Oasis's partners, they're all owned by its users, and it's completely distributed. And so companies like Facebook and others can't leverage this data for their own purposes. So that's why Oasis is a big deal. They partnered up with several companies, including Personal AI.
Yeah.
And when we were digging deeper for our research for the Personal AI, we just discovered Oasis. And
yeah, what it is, they're providing also like an identity layer, right?
Right.
For the Personal AI users.
Yeah.
And we just got done going down the identity rabbit hole with Quadrata.
Yeah.
That interview should be out at some point.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open for that. We're definitely stepping our interview game up. But all these things are interlinked one way or another, right?
Yeah.
So identity is obviously a big deal, a big primitive, a fundamental aspect to Web3 in order for it to, mature. So Oasis is servicing, I think, they're doing pretty much the same. They're trying to provide like a KYC, AML, much more like a established and trusted compliance layer to Web3, right?
Right.
And during our interview, of course, like the Web3 ethos, the hardcore crypto bras, they want as minimal, traditional infiltration as possible. But in order for the space to really mature and grow and get to a status where institutional capital is willing to enter the space, these things are necessary.
Yeah, where markets are measured in the trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
That's all well-regulated stuff.
Yeah.
And so if, like you're saying, if crypto, is trying to get to that status, we got to follow regulated processes.
Pretty much. So yeah, the processes have to come about. So yeah, we have a few entrants. Oasis seems to have, I mean, I wasn't aware of this until recently, but they have some pretty banger partners in the works, right?
So just to set up the conversation about the partners, I want to show you what the Oasis Network current market cap is around 262 million.
So yeah, and to be clear, that this is the layer 1 smart contract platform that the Rose token is supporting, right?
Yeah.
So Oasis Labs, you know, these things I guess are built on top of this layer 1 network. So
yeah, and so this is it's its own layer 1, right? Yep. We're not piggybacking off of Ethereum or Cardano. It's its own thing. And it seems like it's places where you can get it is like Binance, and I've never even heard of BitTrue, but yeah, that's where you get it. So anyway, so looking at their different partnerships, we're looking at Equifax.
Yeah,
right?
that was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Quadrata, we just interviewed, I think they have a partnership with TransUnion, which is another huge provider for credit reporting agencies and stuff like that.
Competitor to Equifax.
Yeah, because the reason why I guess these identity servicers would want to partner with these credit servicers is because they kind of go hand in hand, right? Part of your identity is tied to your reputation, right? In the traditional world.
Yeah.
So in the Web3 on-chain world, it's going to be very similar. Your on-chain identity and your on-chain reputation scores, whatever protocol that generates those on your behalf, you're going to need to tie in, I guess, like your real-world presence as well, right? If you want like a real, reliable, trusted identity to yourself whenever you're trying to, get a loan through Web3, it'd be nice to know how well have you done paying back your real-world loans.
Yeah.
So these partnerships make sense.
So now Equifax is getting into the Web3 space. So maybe our Web2 credit history is going to be potentially on-chain, accessible by, all these different projects.
Sounds like it. Yeah, I think we're on the way towards that, like a much more interlinked physical and digital presence.
We're doing it, dude. We're probably closer to uncollateralized lending than we think.
Oh yeah, I think it's on the horizon for sure. But these are the things that have to be figured out and like set in stone. So it's not just Equifax that Oasis has, good partnerships with.
Oh, look
it's also our well-known,
our friendly neighborhood
metaverse provider.
Yeah,
Meta, dude.
So fairness to all its AI models. So they're leveraging Oasis in a little bit different way. So by Meta working with Oasis Labs, we're looking at an ability for AI or Meta to determine whether or not the data they're collecting has some sort of biases.
Yeah.
And so only AI could figure that out because there's so much data crunching than anything else. And so leveraging AI can allow them to determine, the fairness of their algorithms.
Yeah, I think the Oasis layer comes from like all the privacy integrations and tools that, because it's a privacy focused, I think, ethos or network, which is the Oasis. If you go deep into like, their white paper and stuff and you see layer 1s is as saturated as they get, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very hard to notice the granular separations between them, right? Because, they're all basically trying to service the same needs in the blockchain space, It's like an application development ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
And there's only like a couple of real big needs, and that behalf security's one, scalability's another.
Well, not only that, you're tapping into the psychology of the masses. Like what we saw with Twitter and the Twitter files, we learned that Twitter had a biases in their algorithm, human influenced algorithms.
Yeah.
And so that biases was a little bit left-leaning.
Correct.
And what's happening here is this project will advance fairness measurements in AI models, which will positively impact the lives of individuals across the globe. So with this integration, this partnership, Meta, I guess, is trying to create algorithms that are a little bit more fair.
Yeah, but at the same time, so they don't have to, I guess, infringe on their own users' privacy, right?
Right.
By leveraging third-party I guess data crunch, aka AIs.
Yeah. Yeah.
that are using Oasis protocol to kind of protect all the data and stuff and information that Meta is collecting on the behalf of its own users. So
Right.
I think it's Meta, I don't know, trying to address already the negative sentiment it has, because obviously Meta is going to, at some point, go deeper and deeper and deeper into the Web3 space, especially if they want to build like a real true metaverse economy.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, there's speculation that Aptos, my own speculation, Aptos has some sort of affiliation with Meta or Facebook, just because of, you know.
Yeah, the origin of Aptos is from Facebook, at least Facebook
Correct.
engineers.
Yeah, and I guess also blockchain just is the technology layer that can help Facebook in its situation where it can actually, maybe they could recoup from the negative sentiment they built against themselves for being, I guess, bad stewards of digital data, right? Having not
now that Facebook is a superpower, they don't need to be so biased in any one direction. Mm-hmm. If they prove that they're fair with blockchain and things like Oasis, then it really doesn't matter what happens. It's like it is what it is, and that's the algorithm, right? We're pushing, fairness across the globe.
Correct.
And so Facebook is one of those that's too big to fail.
Yeah, but but they could still, they have a long way to go to, I guess, I don't know, get the public's perception of like.
But this is how you do it.
This is how
technically.
You do it. Exactly. Now you could prove.
Yeah,
we could still, come up with the same algorithms. We could still leverage all this data in a positive way for our platform and our users and stuff like that, and to, provide you guys with nice services and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the same time, protect the privacy of the data providers themselves, right?
Yeah.
By leveraging things like Oasis. So that's why once we kind of got a grip on all this stuff, it seems like Oasis Network in itself is pretty damn undervalued in context of like where the layer 1 space is.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you bring up on the far right, just let's look at the list of layer 1 smart contract platforms. Like I said, it's very saturated.
Yeah. So
Ethereum obviously being the first one.
Yeah. Then we have Binance, Cardano, Polygon, all well-known names. Solana, Polkadot, Tron is still top 20
around. Yeah.
Of course, Chainlink, but Oasis is somewhere in the 138.
Yeah. So I mean, considering the partnerships they're fostering, and I guess the trust they have within the Web 2 space, as they're cornering, I guess, a niche in the layer 1 space, right? Which is much more privacy focused.
Yeah.
And I think during the AI era, that's going to be a huge consideration, right? Everybody's going to want to know that the data that they're feeding these AIs it's not, totally centralized. And again, like,
well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be users of personal AI, and they made it really clear during the onboarding process.
Yeah, explain that process. What did happen?
The data that I provide to personal AI is my information, right? It's nobody else's.
How is it yours? What does that even mean?
They're leveraging Oasis protocol or Oasis labs in order to enable this ownership to exist on the blockchain.
So does that mean like they become like little cryptos, like your data? There's like little private keys to it, or?
Well, I'm pretty sure that the data that exists on this decentralized network is inaccessible by anyone but myself.
Interesting.
And so what's cool about this is that I would be providing information to my personal AI.
Yeah.
And then you could query that information. You can ask it, my personal AI, questions about something that you might want to know. It's like, what's William's thoughts on AI? Yeah. And like all the information would be there.
Yeah.
And so, but that information is owned by me, and it cannot be leveraged by Facebook or Google or anybody else.
So in the future, where let's say the ethos of the world is like, man, I don't trust any app unless they are using some sort of decentralized database system, right? So if you don't have like an AOS or an Oasis, as part of your onboarding process, then I'm not going to use your app.
Well, that's right.
So then you have to just grant access to your personal information base.
I mean, now that you said that, I feel like it puts a lot of burden on the end user to understand like where that data is being stored. Is it AWS or is it Oasis Network? I mean, what is it?
It definitely puts a burden, but if there's like a financial incentive, which there should be, if data is that important and that valuable, then owning it should mean you should extract some sort of. Every time you, I guess, give like an application access to it, you get paid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Now all of a sudden, the app itself becomes enhanced
Yeah.
with your contribution, your presence.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I think that is kind of the future where we're headed. It is much more, I think, sustainable and,
Yeah.
less likely for revolution or something.
Yeah.
Right now we're kind of like forced to kind of, adapt to our
leaders,
the ecosystem that's provided to
superpowers.
us, right? Because tech was built.
Yeah.
And they built so much value from it. Like we just kind of have to adopt it, right? But people are slowly starting to realize data
Yeah.
is very important, right? And
Yeah.
I think AI is only going to make that more obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook Analytica, or what's it called? Remember when it got compromised? Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah.
And it basically exposed a bunch of information about everybody. And so all these things are in the back of the minds of these developers in the Web3 space. And so they're creating these solutions that allow users to own their own data, which minimizes the impacts of all these like compromises. So yeah, we discovered Oasis through personal AI. I think this rabbit hole was pretty deep. Once we saw like the evaluation of the token and its potential, market application now with Meta and all these different partnerships, we see a pretty good opportunity here for.
I think so too. And
growth.
again, personal AI being a user of Oasis Labs, which is a product from Oasis Network itself. I think it's safe to assume we'll probably see, if our prediction comes true, where we're going to see a lot of AI Web3 apps spin up in the next, 6 to 12 months, and that's going to become a new mania for the sector,
Right.
the space. I bet you more will take a personal AI's, recommendation of which data provider should we use personal AI. So I would expect to see them get even more, their ecosystem continue to grow down the line.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, if we believe AI is going to take over the Web3 space in terms of like a mania, like this is the infrastructure that needs to exist for those applications to be true to their word. Like,
check out these backers, by the way.
Yeah, A16Z, no big deal.
Binance, Polychain Capital,
Electric Capital is a big
these are
one.
some pretty freaking name. Pantera. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
This is about as undervalued. Dragonfly. This is about as undervalued as layer one I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's going to be difficult for the market to pick up on that.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a very saturated space. There's so many layer one competitors, so many people trying to spin up their own blockchain. It's like, okay, what makes you special, right?
Yeah.
And I think this one for sure has enough, going for it. And it to me, it does feel very niche. So we'll see if like their marketing department picks up on it and really decides to like hone in on like AI partnerships. If they do, I think that would really work out very well for them.
Yeah.
Like we are the trusted blockchain for the AI ecosystem. I don't know, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
AI likes us,
Yeah.
then they're going to do very well.
Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised with what Oasis Network and Oasis Labs was bringing to the table. And this was really interesting. Like us doing research on it, I was well entertained.
Very nice.
And
Good
so we had to do this video. And if any of the guys at Oasis Labs or Network want to come on the podcast to have a chat, we'd love to have you guys on. Mm-hmm. I think this is like one of the more interesting stuff. I mean, we look into like weird things that is not necessarily like in the zeitgeist of Web3. We look for technologies like this just because we know that it's solving a deep issue.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we just like talking about it. So if you guys want to hop on, hit us up on Twitter or send us an email or anything like that. And so that has been Oasis. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner, at MetaZone.io, and at Roby AI. And we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.